Hey everyone, welcome to the live English show. I am so happy to have you here. And Ori, I am so happy to have you here as well.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And this is a new format. It's like a real talk show because for the first time in the history of the live English show, I have a live guest here on the show. Ori is a good friend. And he is also a yoga teacher and a breathing therapist. And he is going to talk to us today about your breath.
Yes.
Your breath.
Yes.
Ori, would you like to just introduce yourself to everyone here?
Yes.
And I'm just going to, let's see, I'm going to show you, just so you know, I'm going to get him familiar with everything that is happening so you can see the comments here.
Yeah.
And then people... If you're here, say hi in the comments.
Hi, Destiny.
Cool. So,
how are you?
Ori, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So, as Adar told you, my name is Ori, and I'm a yoga teacher. And what I do mainly is focusing my yoga practice and my yoga teaching on the breath, because breathing is... From my point of view and from my teacher's point of view, is the main character or the main factor that determines how your life will be, and by that how your yoga practice will be.
So that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah.
So your breathing affects, you're saying, basically everything.
Yeah. Not everything, but most of the things. Yeah.
Okay. And essentially the yoga practice, which is where you come from. You weren't always a yoga teacher.
No, I weren't. I used to work as a stock market broker for almost 13 years.
Okay.
And working in this environment, this really stressful environment, and while practicing yoga, I noticed the differences in state of minds and how my breathing patterns changes when I'm at work and when I'm at the office and while I'm practicing yoga.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so you really recognize that. Maybe we can ask everyone here a question. Have you ever noticed it, like when that you have different breathing patterns when you are in one situation or one setting in your life, and then a different breathing pattern? Like, how do you even notice it? Like, it's not, breathing is something that is very subconscious. You don't pay attention to it.
That's true. But because I'm used to, during my practice, I pay attention a lot to things, to my body and to the way I breathe, to the way I conduct myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to notice that while I was working, while I was experiencing stressful situations, my breathing patterns got like shorter and more superficial, and it affected not only the breath itself, but my mood and the way I carry my body, my posture. And that was... on the one hand, it was a really important thing to find out, but it was also a bit shocking, because I noticed that when I'm not paying attention, my body goes into like a closed posture, and my breathing becomes very, very shallow. And I found like a direct connection between my mood and the things that were going on in my office,
which I assume was a little stressful.
Just a little bit.
Just a tad, yes.
A tad stressful, yeah. And it was it affected me. It affected me physically and mentally, and I had to do something with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you did something about it.
I did.
Yeah.
I absolutely did.
So what we're going to do today, by the way, for those of you joining, say hi in the comments if you can hear it, if you can see us, and if you can hear us well. And one of the things that we're going to do today, so Ori's is going to tell us about his personal experience and what he has learned about using his breath to manage stress. and also to really like become more present in life when it comes to, you know, work, but also I guess your personal life, or, you know, like your family and everything. And one of the reasons why I asked Ori to come here is because I noticed that when my students or people in our community, when they make videos or when they speak or when they share their experience communicating in English, there is that experience of, you know, this anxious feeling sometimes that is that revolves around speaking in English because of the challenges that the language requires, you know, and that you're facing. But also, you know, and I think, I don't know what comes first, but that anxiety affects the breath. And when you don't have a lot of breath, or when you have, you know, when you have shallow breaths, I think that affects your nervous system as well. And you're here to tell us why that happens.
An endless loop.
An endless loop, right? So it's like one thing leads to another, and then you're like on this rabbit hole of just anxiety and stress, and not being able to use your voice, because, you know, we talk about it a lot, that the voice is carried on the breath, right? And the voice is what it's like the substance from which we, you know, create language. We have to use our voice, and if we don't have the breath, then it's going to be very hard to have a present voice and to have our voice carry our thoughts, no matter how well you know English. And this is why I want you to share with us a little more why the breath is so important when it comes to your stress and, you know, the nervous system, and then maybe a few exercises that can help our students.
Yeah, of course. So when we're talking about breathing, and we're talking about patterns of breath.
Okay.
And I have like a little exercise for you.
Okay.
And for you guys,
for all of us. Ready?
Yeah.
We have an exercise. Yes.
Try to think about the last time you were really, really angry, or the last time you really, really got afraid of something. And just try to, you can just close your eyes and do it with your eyes open. Just try to imagine you breathing within this specific emotional situation. And you might have noticed that the breathing has different patterns for different emotions, right? So when you're really, really angry, your breath is really rapid and shallow.
Yeah.
You mostly breathe to your chest area. And when you're really, really sad, you tend to take a lot of breath out. You tend to exhale to like make this like this.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And vice versa, when you're happy, your breathing pattern is really deep and easy and comfortable in your body. Okay, so by first noticing it, being really, really mindful to this changing in patterns, you can manipulate the way you breathe, and by that manipulate the way you feel. It's one affects the other.
So you're saying that the first thing we need to do is start paying attention.
Yeah.
So start paying, like, I like what you said about recall a moment where you were angry, because immediately when I thought about it, I felt that my breath is starting to become faster and more rapid, right? Like more powerful. And then, but then also in the day-to-day life, it's important for people to just recognize if, you know, what they're experiencing. Would you say that they should just, if they feel an emotion, they should recognize their breathing patterns, or should they have moments during the day where they check their breath and their emotion? What would you say?
You can do both. It's good. The way I see it, it's good to sometimes just stop what you're doing and observe your current state, your physical state, and your mental state.
Yeah,
it's a good exercise just to exercise your mind, to be mindful, to be present.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you get used to this way of thinking, okay, to just not getting used to going through the day, but
Yeah.
just make an intentional stops during the day to just observe your state, your emotional, the way you think, and the way you breathe. You might recognize that some things are habitual. Okay, you got like patterns
Okay.
that you get used to, and by noticing these patterns, you can just intentionally change them.
Okay. So I'm just going to repeat what you're saying for everyone. And yeah, we have some comments here. And guys, if you have any questions that come up, you can ask them, and then we're going to come back and answer them. So basically, to recognize patterns that you have during the day, and maybe those patterns are associated to certain places where you're at, certain emotions, certain state of mind, times during the day, morning, evening, afternoon. Really interesting. Yeah. Now, I would even add, recognize your breathing patterns just before or while you speak English. Does something happen there when you go into, let's say, practice mode, or maybe when you speak to someone that you are that you feel comfortable with, or maybe when you speak to colleagues or to your boss, right? So you want to recognize if your breath behaves differently in those situations as well.
That's true.
Okay, and then what?
And then you need to, you don't need to, but it's good for you to try to change it just a little bit.
Okay.
To step out of your habit. Okay, if you're noticing that you're breathing really, really rapidly or in a shallow way, in a shallow manner, just try to take like 5 or 6 deep breaths intentionally, even if it's not feeling natural.
Right.
Force your body to do it.
Yeah.
Take air in and then breathe air out, and just observe after that what happens if something changes.
Okay. By the way, a question that people sometimes ask, and breathing in and out, should you breathe in through the nose or the mouth, or in breathing out nose or mouth? Like, what would be the best way to breathe? Okay. And maybe you can teach us. I know that later on you'll give us a few exercises around breathing, but when you say that, what does that mean even to breathe in a deeper way? Okay,
so let's address the first question first.
Yeah.
The differences between breathing through the nose or through the mouth. When you're breathing, okay, if I answer this questions as a yoga teacher, I would say you should breathe through your nose.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of
breathe out too, as in yoga, breathing in and out
through the nose.
Through the nose. Okay.
Okay. The nose is
in yoga.
In yoga, yeah. The nose, and during yoga practice. Okay. Yeah. Not during running or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. No.
Yes.
During your yoga practice, you should breathe through your nose.
So if you're practicing yoga right now, nose.
Yeah. Nose. Yeah. The reason is it's really simple, because when you breathe through your mouth, okay, when you open your mouth and breathe, you will find it much more difficult to regulate your breath.
Okay.
Okay. When air goes through your nose, you could control the way the air goes in and goes out.
Okay.
Okay. So it's really, really important to have the ability to regulate your breath.
Okay.
So I would recommend breathing through your nose, in and out.
Okay.
And it's I found it more beneficial.
Okay. So let's agree that when you take those moments throughout the day when you recognize that your breathing patterns are changing, or you start breathing rapidly, or even before, that you have to go for you before going into a meeting or before starting a practice group, then just breathe in through your nose and out through your nose 5 times. If that doesn't work for you, change it, do whatever works for you. But if that works for you, then Ori recommends to stick with it.
Yeah, I would add that we're gonna do some little exercise that will involve breathing through the mouth, but through a constricted lips. So it's not a natural breathing through an open mouth. Okay, we will try to regulate our breath using our lips.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
So stay till the end so we get all the exercises. Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we know, we start recognizing the breathing patterns and we start recognizing it, and then we also do something on a regular basis. Why is it so important to regulate the breath? How does the breath affect our nervous system so much?
Yeah. So the way we are built, okay, as humans, we have, let's talk about two main characters, okay, two main players in this whole process that's called breath. The first one is a muscle, okay, it's our diaphragm. If you never heard about
Where is it?
It's being located just
right here.
Beneath
this is your diaphragm.
Yeah,
here.
just beneath your ribs, okay, and it's attached to your ribs. Okay, we have two diaphragm here.
Okay.
And on our below our lower belly, okay, attached to our pelvic floor. It's like the small diaphragm and the large diaphragm. And when we breathe, okay, when we inhale, we take air through the mouth or through the nose. The diaphragm constricts and goes down. Okay, so it pulls the rib cage down. This is what allows your air to go through your nose. It's like you create like a vacuum. Okay, so air goes in.
Okay.
While the diaphragm constricts and goes down. When you exhale, the diaphragm just relaxes, releases itself, and goes up again, and pushes your lungs so the air could go outside.
So maybe they can try it with us for a few breaths, just to try it. How can they feel the diaphragm?
You can't actually feel the diaphragm, but we can do a little exercise that will utilize the diaphragm to its full potential. Let's call it like this way. Okay, so
this is an exercise. Let's all do it together if you can. Okay,
if you can. Just find
on the floor.
A comfortable. You can sit on the floor if you want, but you can also sit
feet
feet on the floor. Okay.
Yes.
So find a comfortable position to sit. Okay, and keep your back really, really long and relaxed.
Make sure that your voice gets here.
Yeah. Yes. So keep your back really long and relaxed, and pull your shoulders backwards. And now pull your right hand, put it on your upper chest, and put your left hand on your lower belly. Okay? And just close your eyes. Do it. It's okay. Close your eyes. First of all, while your eyes are closed, try to observe the current state of your body. How your muscle feel, how your back feels. Just breathe really, really naturally. And then focus your whole attention to the area below your right hand, okay, to the chest area. Just breathe in and expand your chest. And breathe out and relax your chest. Only the chest area. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in and expand your chest. Feel your ribs expand to the side, forward, backward. Next, focus your attention on your lower belly and just breathe to your belly. So when you want to imagine, you can fill your belly with air while you breathe in. It's like a balloon that's being filled. When you breathe out, your belly goes back inside and relaxes. So your whole attention is just being on the belly area. The chest is completely relaxed. Let's do 2 more breaths just like this. Now let's combine the two. So you breathe air in, let your chest expand, and then let your belly expand. When you breathe out, let your belly go back, and then your chest go back. Let's do 5 more breaths. Through the nose, expand your chest, expand your belly. Then,
and of course, every person can have their own rhythm.
Yeah, of course. When you finished 5 full deep breaths, just release your hands and put them on your knees. Stay with your eyes closed for a second or two, and observe again the current state of your body, current feelings. And then open your eyes really slowly. So what we just did, by dividing the areas we breathe into and out from, we're making the diaphragm go contract very, very, very
Low.
low.
Or
yeah. And when we breathe out, diaphragm just releases. And when we use this division, okay, when we divide breathing to the chest and to the belly, okay, we make our diaphragm reach its full potential, full range of motion. And this is really important because while our diaphragm moves, okay, when we breathe while moving the diaphragm, it's not trivial. Some people can't do it. Some people breathe only to the chest area and the diaphragm stays really rigid. Or
yeah. And why is that not? Why would we want to change that?
Yeah. So when we use the diaphragm to breathe, we activate a certain aspect of our nervous system, okay, which causes our body to go back and relax. Okay. There's a large nerve that goes through the diaphragm, and it's been connected to the digestive system and to your heart and to your throat. And while we are activating the diaphragm, this specific nerve is being activated as well, and causes our heart rate to reduce, our throat to relax.
Yeah. It's interesting because when you feel stress, you feel it in your belly, you feel it in your throat, you feel it here in your chest. And I think that like it's so easily resolved if you just recognize that you just need to first bring in more oxygen to your body.
That's true.
And second, to really expand and start affecting that nerve that affects the rest of your body. And, I'm also going to say that the reason why it's important to learn how to breathe into your belly and not just your chest. And again, I see that is a habit for so many people, especially if in yoga, they teach you how to do belly breathing. And if you've ever studied, if you've ever taken vocal lessons, then you are aware of it. But usually, you're not taught how to use your breath in school.
That's true.
Yet it's one of the most important tools that we have, not just for a happy life, but really to use our voice properly, to use our breathing properly when we speak. I keep bringing it back to the conversation because I know a lot of people watching this are like, okay, how can that help me, improve my communication skills? So not only that it's going to really reduce your stress levels, being able to breathe into your belly, it's also going to help you expand your breath and manage your speaking in a much better way. Have you ever felt, and let me know in the comments if that has ever happened to you, where you're running out of breath while you're speaking, especially in English, if it's not your first language, you're running out of breath and then you feel like you need to stop in the middle to take a breath, or you keep breathing in and then you feel like you're hyperventilating, you have too much breath and you don't know how to use it. And then you're like, it's not in sync. Your voice and your breath are not in sync. So that creates more stress, and that makes you feel like you're not in control of your English or your native language. It can happen, when you speak in public. It can happen when you're nervous in a meeting or speaking to your parents, So I think it's really important to understand how these two things are intrinsically connected, and being able to control your breath will affect your stress levels, but also your speaking skills and your voice, which we're going to talk about really soon. So if you feel like your voice is not grounded, if people can't hear you, if you can't project your voice, then definitely focus on the breath first. And the breath will have the power to carry your voice, because breath is really, really everything when it comes to communication. Okay, so now we've learned why it's good to breathe into the belly, and you've given us this exercise that I recommend for you to do it probably daily, right? Yeah, maybe even a few times a day, just like, the exercise.
At least once.
At least once a day.
At least once.
Okay, good. Now, what else would you recommend for people who want to improve to optimize their breath and their voice?
Okay, so we're gonna do a little sound exercise.
Okay.
But
I'm all about sounds. Yeah, you know me.
Before we do that, I would like to go back and talk about a really important issue. Okay, that also connects.
Tell me all about it.
Yeah. Because we need to find like a direct connection between what we did and the voice, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about how deep you breathe. It's about what effect does it have on your ability to speak. Okay. So when we mentioned earlier this specific nerve, okay, this nerve also connects to your throat, to your larynx, and this nerve has like two branches. When you breathe to your belly, as we said earlier, you activate this nerve. One branch is responsible for your ability to open and close your vocal folds. So it will affect your ability to produce sound. Really, it's that simple.
Wow.
Okay? And the other branch is also connected to a different part of your throat, and it's the thing that's responsible on your ability to control your pitch of your voice. So by doing this exercise alone, okay, you activate your diaphragm, and by that you activate this nerve. We didn't name it yet, and we won't. So it's not important.
For those who are not important, the name of the nerve?
No. It's called the vagus nerve, but
the vagus.
The vagus. But we're not go into that.
Yes.
But when we activate this nerve, we also strengthening our ability to control the components of our voice.
Wow. So this is really huge, because a lot of people, again, like, especially when we talk about intonation, I hear a lot of people saying, I don't know how to use my voice. My voice is really monotone. I can't control it. Now, everyone, you can all control your voice. It's not like maybe it's just a false perception. We all know how to change the pitch. I mean, we all, if you're healthy and you have your vocal folds or vocal cords. So that nerve that is connected to your diaphragm, right, really is in charge of those elements, like you said, that are directly connected to opening and closing the vocal cords or folds. It's the same. And which is what you need to produce sound, right? Like if you don't have your vocal folds, then you have no sound. And then the frequency of the vibrations actually affect the level of your pitch. Pitch is the note or the tone of your voice. So both are controlled by this vagus nerve. Our friend Vegas. Vegas.
So
okay.
It's really important.
Okay.
Really, really important. So we're gonna do like a little exercise, a sound exercise, which I really, really like.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I be worried?
You can be worried. You don't need to be.
Okay.
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 So this exercise we use it to reduce stress, but it's also really, really good to exercise your vocal cords. Okay, this exercise called Brahmari, or how can I translate it? It's like the breathing of the bees. Okay,
I
Brahmari
like it.
was the goddess of the bees in the Hindu mythology. So what we're gonna do is, again, find a comfortable sitting position, and
Please sit.
yeah, and place our hands on our ears. Okay. Like this.
Like this? This?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to block your ears. Okay.
But now I can't hear you.
So just open your hands. We'll do it together. Okay. What we're going to do, okay, I'll demonstrate.
Okay.
What we're going to do is block our ears. Okay. Breathe in through our nose. And while we're breathing out, we'll produce an M sound. And we'll try to do it as low as we can.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we'll do 2 breathing with a low, really, really low M sound. And then we're going to go
up.
Okay.
So, from that sound. Okay, I'll follow you.
Okay, so
let's follow Ori.
Yeah, it looks like this. The blocking of the ear just increases the sound. Okay, so we'll do it. Take air in, breathe in through your nose. Then make a as long as you can. Again. Right, and the next breathing out, make a little higher note. That's it.
Higher.
That's it. Let's do it one more time. Last time.
I love how I feel the vibrations of the voice in my teeth.
Yeah. This is one thing that happens when you produce sounds while blocking your ears. It resonates and causing a vibration, which by itself is quite calming, right?
Yeah.
But another thing that we don't think about when we're producing like a monotone sound is by doing that we're making our exhalation longer
because of the voice, because of the hum.
Yeah.
Right, which is again a great exercise to expand your breath when using your voice. It's really like it's a great tool to have. It's a great thing to have, to be able to not be controlled by your breath, by the deficiency of your breath or just breathing patterns.
That's true.
But to be more, to have all these options,
right,
basically. Yeah.
And sound is a really, really important and efficient tool that help you regulate your breath.
Interesting. Yeah.
If you feel that your breath is really shallow or short, just try to breathe with a sound, any kind of sound, and it will automatically make your first exhalation longer. And by making your exhalation longer, your inhalation will become longer.
And I think, one of the things that I think is if we connect it to voice again, you know, in doing this exercise, and it feels really good. Like it really feels good. I feel how, like, I really liked how I felt the tickles here. And if you don't, then it's something that comes with time. It's like, it really is like an instrument that you learn how to play. And if you don't hear a lot of vibrations, your voice is not broken. You just need to do it again and again and again until you find that right pitch or the right way to use your voice. Because sometimes we tend to push down our voice and to not allow it to be present, or to keep it too low or too high where it doesn't resonate really, you know, in an optimal way. Now, this exercise is really good because the lower we go and we start really low, this is where we work on our chest resonance, right? Like where usually the sound resonates in the chest, and we might feel more vibrations here.
The lower tones, right?
Yeah, the lower tones tend to resonate here. So if you tend to have, if your voice tends to be a little on the higher range, and you want to bring those bass notes and to make it a bit more present sometimes, because the lower notes are the notes that you need to reach, to project, to reach out further, then this exercise is really good. Like really explore that deeper lower sound. And as you go up, you actually go up in your resonators too. So a medium sound, mid-level sound would resonate more in your mouth and your face. And as you go up, it resonates more in the nose, in your cheeks, and your forehead. So and you will feel it more and more. The more you do it, the more you get comfortable, the more you get familiar with your breath and your voice. And again, like understanding that, becoming more aware, knowing how you can shift from a lower note to a higher note using your different resonators is such a great tool to communicate, not just in English, but in your native language as well.
That's true.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me quickly see if we have any questions.
Of course.
And then, okay. Oninsa says, I loved this exercise. Good. Hi, Oninsa. The thing is to value our English, not to compare with others. Absolutely. Oh, okay. It's not a good day for me to practice because I have a stuffy nose. What do we do when we have a stuffy nose and we can't breathe in through the nose?
We breathe through the mouth.
Breathe through the mouth. No, but then we can't hum. So maybe with a like, because when you have a stuffy nose, you can't hum.
You know what? I have one more thing for the days you have a stuffy nose.
Okay.
Again, a sound exercise. Okay.
Okay.
You can do it not only when you feel bad or when you have a stuffy nose, but
not just when you're sick.
Not just when you're sick. No. So
when you're sick and tired of the other exercises, you can you can do this one.
Okay. So we're gonna pick a movement.
Okay.
And we're gonna do this movement during this exercise.
Okay.
The movement that I recommend, it's not, I sound like a doctor. I'm not recommending this, okay? You can just
You're
do
prescribing
it. Yeah, I'm not
movement.
prescribing you any motions or any exercise or nothing, okay? Find a comfortable sitting position or a lying back position or anything that you feel comfortable with. And the exercise is gonna go like this. You're gonna put your hands on your chest. When you breathe
in,
you take your hands out, open them, and when you breathe, no, it's the other way around.
Breathe. No, I moved. Okay, again. I told you that it's hard for me, like movement and stuff is not, like I have like this physical dyslexia where, you say out, I put in. It's a thing. No, let's do it. I can do it. Okay. I just moved. Okay, breathing in.
Open our hands. When you breathe out, we produce an ah sound and close our hands to our chest. Yes. And again, open. And we can do an E sound. Can you go all through all the vowels, right? Let's open. One more time. Let's do once with an E sound.
E.
One time with an oo sound. And last time with an O sound. Just leave your hands and let the vibrations resonate through your body. That's it. Release your hands. That's it.
It's so nice because ultimately voice is energy. It's frequencies, vibrations. And it's not just you within yourself. It's also you against the other person, not against, but maybe with. So my voice bounces off of Ori, comes back to me, and his voice bounces off of me and comes back to him. So actually, I really like doing it together because I felt that it kind of like enhances the vibrations.
A harmony.
And
right?
You can create a harmony, yeah. Which like it felt different than when I would do it
That's
when I
true.
do it alone, because
That's
sometimes I do it as part of preparing for something or vocal exercises. So it really is nice. So do it with someone that you like, a friend or someone that you love. I think it's a really, really cool exercise. What else? What else do you have in store for us? So what about people who feel really rigid, and let's say, do you have any exercises related to people who hold a lot of tension, especially in the jaw, maybe neck, shoulders? I feel that when people hold a lot of tension here, it immediately affects their voice. Mm-hmm. Tension brings tension. Right. And then that tension is carried over to their English or their speaking. But specifically in English, I think that, when we think of vowels, for example, that are pure sounds, a, e, o, and then so it's all vibrations, all about your voice. Of course, we have pitch there too. And for many of them, you need to open your mouth to get to the right frequency, right? If your mouth is not open enough, the a sound is going to sound like an e, because your tongue is going to be too high, and then that doesn't create the frequency that you need for the a sound. If you have a lot of tension, then it's really hard to open the jaw. It's going to feel unnatural. If this is the case for you, let us know in the comments so we know if this is something that happens to you. So as in cat, like you need to have this relaxed experience. So what would you recommend to people who tend to hold a lot of tension?
So when it comes to the jaw and the neck area and the shoulders area, we do like stretches that activates this whole area, not just not the jaw specifically, but the whole area.
Okay.
And we have a really cool exercise that involves mindfulness. Okay. Focusing. Mm-hmm. And movement. Okay.
Let's do it.
And let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Again, you can place your left hand on your left knee. Okay. And place your right hand on the wall over there. If you don't have a wall, imagine you have a wall. Okay. So your hand is not on your shoulders, not aligned with your shoulders, but being stretched just a little bit. And focus your eyes on the middle finger and the index finger.
I really feel the stretch here.
Yeah. And just take a really deep breathe in. And while you're breathing out, bring your right hand really slowly to your left shoulder. Keep looking at the fingers, right? And again, breathe in, follow the fingers all the way back. And breathe out. Follow your hand as slowly as you can. Focus on your fingers alone to your left shoulder. This is it. You can do that 5 times to each hand. Really simple, right?
Yeah, it's really simple.
And you're exercising your focusing ability because your eyes are fixed on your fingers, right? Mm-hmm. And you try to synchronize the movement with the breathing. So that's one more thing that involves focusing. You're focusing on synchronizing something. You can't be thinking about something else, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Which is what we want to start doing more and more of, to be present in, this moment and what's happening and in specific things. Again, back to English.
Yeah.
I always like to bring it back to English.
Why?
Gee, I don't know. English. So this idea of mindfulness and being able to focus on one thing is so important, because oftentimes what happens when people communicate is that they get so caught up in their English, what they are going to say, trying to figure out what the other person says and how they're going to respond, analyzing what they just said and if it was good enough, or maybe they made a mistake. So it's kind of like you're never in the moment. When you're uncomfortable with the language, right? Like you're always thinking about how you're going to be perceived, what they're going to think about you, what you're going to say. What if you don't know what to say? What if you can't understand what they're saying? I mean, all those thoughts about, and all those fears will prevent you from understanding what the other person is saying, because you're not present, you're not occupied with, you're not busy listening, you're busy worrying. Mm-hmm. Or, of course, that's not the case for everyone, but if it is for you, then I think that exercising being present and being in the moment and listening to what the other person is saying without thinking about what you are going to say is really going to help you with your listening skills, or with, communication skills, because you feel it when someone is not paying attention, is not with you, right? Like is thinking about someone. It's like someone is playing with their phone. It's not the same, but like you can see if in their eyes, if they're not there with you. And I think that it can really reduce so much stress when you just let go of all the thoughts and you look at the person's eyes or mouth or whatever you're comfortable with and just be present.
Focusing on what's happening right now, not what might have happened, not anything that is not, basically what is not real. Okay, what's real is what's real. What's happening right now.
Now, yeah, I like it. Yeah, so good. Let's see if you guys have questions. I'm going to look at the comments. So if you see me doing this, it's because the computer is right here and the comments are here. But if you have any questions about breath, voice, stress, tension, anything, like if you want to share your own story, please feel free to do that here in the comments. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, it's live. So you can ask a question right now and you'll get the answer. I mean, it's live if you're watching now, but if you're watching the recording, then it's not live. I have stress to speak, but for listening. Tatar, can you explain that a bit more so we can give you some advice? How many times do you recommend to do it? So I'm assuming BC23, whatever your name is. Hi. So he or she is asking, how many times do you recommend doing this? So let's talk about all the exercises.
Yep.
So we first had the breathing in and out. Let's do a little recap for those who joined us. We did 5 breaths to your chest, to your belly, to your chest, and out.
Yeah.
So to do that at least once a day.
Yeah, at least once, just to get accustomed with moving your diaphragm.
Yeah.
You can do it as many times as you want.
As many times as you want. Especially if you feel that you're starting to get nervous or you feel like your breath starts becoming more shallow. The second exercise that we did the M exercise, where you start really low, and every time you start raising the pitch a little bit, you do 5-6 breaths of that. And how many times would you recommend doing that?
Again, it's not something that I can say this number is okay and that number is not okay. Everyone is different. And
so I would recommend start small and start with once a day of doing all 3 exercises in a sequence, or 4 even, right? Like do all 4 exercises that you've learned today in a sequence. And then like whenever you feel that you need a little bit of support from your breath, or before, as you know, a meeting, a conversation, you can do it again. So the third one, the first was just breathing in and out, chest, belly. Second, M, going up in pitch. The third one was with the vowels and opening, going from here to here, and then back here. Breathe, and then E, I, O.
Make a sound.
Ooh, make
Exhale
a sound.
while making
whatever
a sound.
Vowel works for you. It doesn't have to be the 5 neutral vowel sounds. And then this was my favorite, by the way, the vowels, of course. And then the last one was the stretch and focus.
Yeah, this is just to prepare your body to the breathing exercises.
So maybe they can start with this. Yeah. So you can start with the stretching.
This or any other stretch exercise that you feel. I mean, it's not a prescription. If you feel like raising your arms or bending forward or anything like that, just do it. Just a free movement in order to just soften your body, your tissues, your joints, in order to
free movement with focus, right? Like we want to make sure that we have like a focal point that we.
And I might add another one.
Okay, so we have another exercise.
Yeah, another one.
Okay.
Which is a kind of like an emergency patch. Okay. Sometimes your mind is too occupied to do these exercises because it involves being present. Right?
Okay.
So I have another really cool exercise that is, again, it's a bit more simple, okay, because it uses very clear images of what we're going to do. So it's called the flower and the candle. Okay, I think we showed that to you, right? So,
yeah. In a workshop
in a workshop.
Did. Yeah.
So what we're basically going to do is imagine a flower, right? If you have a favorite flower that you can imagine and smell, that's great. And if not, just any other flower. And just close your eyes and imagine that the flower is being placed right next to your nose, right? And then imagine a candle burning not far away from you. While you inhale, imagine the scent of the flower. Imagine the scent goes through your nose and just
inhale the flower.
Yeah, being absorbed in your body. And when you exhale, you take your air, you exhale really, really softly in order for the candle not to be blown out. Right?
So you don't want to blow it out. It's not like a birthday cake that you need to blow out.
You need to want to make the flame just like flicker. Okay.
Let's flicker that flame. Yeah.
So you breathing in and smell this flower, and breathing out and make the flame flicker. So you can see these images in your mind while doing this breathing in and out. Which can
do it. Wait. Rega, אני צריכה להתרכז. Okay. Flower.
Which one is going to be a rose?
It's a lily.
It's a lily.
Okay, it's
a good choice.
My mom's name is Lily in Hebrew.
Really?
Shoshana.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, let's concentrate. A lily.
Make sure you're not putting down the candle, right? Just make the flame flicker really softly. When you breathe in, you're not just letting air in, you smell the flower, you feel its smell. So in this exercise, you're actually using your mouth as well.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it earlier. So you don't have to always breathe through your nose, but in some point you can breathe through your mouth.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting. When my young daughter, Asya, she's 5 years old, she's a very passionate human. And her emotions go from, 0 to 5,000.
I love her.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love her.
You gotta love her.
You gotta love her. And maybe I should bring her to the show one day. So Asya, what's going on? Ah! So when she gets really like either anxious or angry, upset, she wants a certain skirt, but it's, in the dryer. And then she wants to, like, I want to calm her down. So I sometimes use this exercise. And I tell her, okay, because when I tell her breathe in and out, she just gets angry at me. But when I imagine that there is a flower, smell the flower, and she does it. So I get her to breathe in and out without recognizing that she's actually breathing in and out, like by using this visual.
Visual.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Questions or comments. Okay. Let's see. That's why I'm thinking, I don't understand well. Try to understand. Okay. Okay, Tatar, you explained a bit more what's happening in your, I think what you're saying is that you're struggling with understanding people, and this is why maybe you get nervous. Sometimes you understand, sometimes not. My best tip, and I have a video coming up about improving your listening skills really soon. But one of the things that you need to do is to really practice, if you want to improve your breathing skills and to optimize your breath, you need to practice breathing. If you want to improve your speaking skills and your fluency, you need to practice speaking. If you want to improve your listening skills, you need to practice your listening. So listening to different people, listening to different accents, different types of English, and to really train your ear to recognize what it is, to listen to people with the captions or the translation or without, or I think everything works. See what is good for you and what challenges you, but you really need to do it more, not just with one person. This is especially if you learn with just one person. And I'm assuming if you're here, you're doing it now as we are speaking. But I think that it's important to do it more and more, especially with different accents, because that's real life. Like in real life, you don't have one standard accent. You have so many different dialects and foreign accents and native accents that are different. And we need to be able to understand how it all works together. And also, I think that knowledge loosens up the stress that we might be feeling. But if you are stressed while listening to other people, then I guess your next safe bet would be to practice your breathing while listening. So you're like opening yourself up, and when you're calmer, it's easier to understand things. It really is. Like if you're stressed out, your level of comprehension really dropped down. Levels. Okay. How can I work about my intonation when I'm speaking? Please, we do have videos about intonation, so you can just go to my playlist and go to intonation, rhythm, stress, and all of that good stuff. And I have a bunch of videos there that can definitely help you. Okay. Someone is asking for an exercise to change a nasal voice. So if people tend to use their voice, I have something to say. Like, I think that sometimes the quality of our voice depends on the quality of the vowels that we have in our language. In some languages, Chinese, for example, there are a lot of nasal vowel sounds, and that makes the voice sound nasal. But it's not because the voice is nasal, it's because the vowels are nasal. They're produced with the air coming out through the nose. Sometimes we implement those vowel sounds onto English. So we use nasal sounds where the vowels are not supposed to be nasal. So it's just a matter of practicing the pronunciation of the vowels in English that are not nasal. And then that can clear out a lot of the nasality. But is there anything else that you would recommend if people feel that their voice is locked in they're only using one aspect of their voice?
Just the exercise that we do with the vowels might be really, really beneficial for these kind of people.
Yeah, I think so too. Like the vowels, not the M, because then it kind of like it. If you're already comfortable with the nasal quality, then yes, definitely go into doing the vowel exercises. And when you do, you can even do it a few times with plugging your nose or making sure that the air doesn't come out through the nose. Because sometimes even when we pronounce vowels, it can be nasal, like if I leave the nasal passages open. So you want to imagine as if you have a cold or you don't want to smell something and just exhale the voice, exhale and release the voice without just through the mouth. And that can definitely help. And yes, like I think all the exercises can be very, very helpful, recognizing what it feels like when the voice resonates in the chest and adding a little bit of that. And again, having said that, a nasal voice is not a bad thing to have if this is your natural voice, if this is where your voice is most comfortable at. But it's good to balance between all the resonators, like the chest and the head and the nose. So it's not only, in the chest or in the throat or in the nose, because we like versatility. And when we use all the resonators, the voice is usually deeper and more present, and we can express more emotions when we speak. Okay. Thank you for the tip with smelling the flower, Bernadette.
You're welcome, Bernadette.
Any final thoughts or questions or things that you'd like to share?
Maybe 2 points, two key points just to think about. The first one is when you think of your breathing or your breath, we tend to just to overlook it because it's there, okay? But when you think about it, it's like it's the first thing that you do when you come to this world, and it's the last thing that you do when you leave this world, okay? So the breath is always there. It's maybe the most important thing that you have in your life. So it might be a good idea to just pay attention to it. Okay? Just become friends with it, because it can really change your life. Just being mindful, just being present with the way that you breathe naturally. That's it, without any sounds or any exercise and nothing. Just the way that you are. Just pay attention to this thing.
Yeah.
And this leads me to the second point. Being mindful to stuff, okay, to things in general, can really make a shift in your way of thinking, right? It might help you get rid of, first of all, being familiar with the habits you have, and if you identify something that is not beneficial to your life, it may be breathing wise or any other thing, but when you become aware of things, you have the ability to change them or to improve them. So it's a good idea to just when you, like you say earlier, just stop like once in an hour. Just stop and observe and see what it does to you like a month after.
And then I'm like, how do I remember to stop? Because you're like on the go, 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 go. You forget to even take it. You forget to drink water. You forget to eat. Like sometimes we're so wrapped up with life that we forget to do even those basic things like paying attention. Actually, I think this exercise can help you start paying attention to yourself, what you need, what you feel. Are you hungry? Do you need to go out for a walk? And how your breath is doing. It's funny, like when you were saying when you were talking about the first point, and you said you got to pay attention. All of a sudden, I realized that I'm holding my breath. Sometimes when I'm listening to other people, I tend to hold my breath.
Which is not a bad thing sometimes.
It's not a bad thing, but it's something to be aware of. Yeah. Am I doing it too much, too little? Like, is it something that happens naturally? What happens after I stop my breath? Am I running out of breath? Or it's interesting. Yeah. Cool. All right. So everyone here, thank you all so much for being here. And Ori, my friend, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. It was so interesting. I always love listening to you.
Really fun.
Yeah. And we are going to later put the time code on the exercises, so you can go directly to the exercises if you want to come back and remember how to do them. Ori, how can people find you? A lot of your content is in Hebrew, but I think that, there are some videos that they can watch as well. How can people find you?
Of course, you can go to my website. That's orikeren.com, ORIKEREN.com, or orikerenyoga.com, and you can visit on Instagram, Ori Keren Yoga. You can find me over there. I share a lot of tips and exercises, videos.
Yeah. And you do also breathing coaching with people. You help people manage. I know that you've been helping a lot of people that had some illnesses like COVID,
right?
Yeah, like that affect people. A lot of people with COVID that couldn't go back to deep breathing. So you really help them optimize their breath after, and anything else related to lungs. So this is like, it's life-saving. It can really change lives, and save lives. So that's amazing. So how we're going to put all the links as well in the description, so they can know how to find you. All right. So thank you so much, Ori. Everyone, thank you thank you so much for being here and for being brave and doing all the exercises with us. And this is serious stuff. This is the core of everything that we talk about. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, no, it's not a speech exercise, it's not it's not about sounds, then it's probably more important than all of the things that we usually teach here on this channel. So take that to heart, take that to mind, and just think about it. If you feel any resistance, think about it and just try it and see how it feels. All right. Thank you so much. And everyone, I'll see you next time. Bye.